Leadership is hands down the most valuable skill in the modern marketplace. And I know what you're thinking. What about attention? What about tech? What about AI? None of that matters. And the reason it matters, why leadership is so important, number one, it gives you the ability to not have to do everything yourself, which means you can infinitely multiply the value of your time. But number two, there's scarcity for it now. Day by day, as we go into the future, more and more we're finding that leaders are getting less and less. Think about the idea of scarcity creating value. How much water is there in the world? Water is arguably the most important thing for us. If we go without it for several days, we die. But because it's everywhere, it's not very expensive. What about diamonds? There's nothing that we actually need diamonds for, outside of maybe some scientific experiments here and there. But because there is a scarce supply, it increases the value. Well, what happens when you get something that is already inherently valuable and then becomes more scarce as time goes on? It increases the value. So the idea of learning how to become a great leader in this modern marketplace, it's unbelievably useful if you're somebody with an above average desire to achieve or be successful. Well, where does that scarcity come from? There's really two things. Number one, there is a lack of people becoming leaders. And number two, there is a lack of resources and education on where to actually learn how to become a good leader. Well, why does that happen? If you think about it, the way that kids are raised these days, as opposed to previous generations, it's all about feelings. It's not so much about results and learning from your mistakes, it's about how do you feel, which means kids are getting 8th place trophies and told that they're winners, or going to safe places rather than having to confront their feelings. Well, what does that mean? If everybody's a winner, then they get into the real world where that doesn't exist. They don't handle that failure or that rejection anywhere near as well as somebody who is experienced with it does. Well, why would you want to be a leader where you have to take on more responsibility and more accountability and more people are looking at you if you're not comfortable with the results of being a leader, with the consequences or the symptoms of being a leader? The other side is, why is there such a demand for leadership education where it's not met? Well, because most companies and most businesses and most organizations use what I call the throw it at the wall method. And essentially, how most companies do anything is they'll just throw a bunch of people, a bunch of candidates at a wall and see what sticks. So someone might get promoted because they're good at their job and then put into a leadership position expecting that just because they're good at their job, they're going to know the core leadership skills, how to teach, how to inspire, how to hold people accountable, how to have agreements, all the things that you need in order to lead effectively. Companies are doing the throw it at the wall model, and it's not working. Well, who's actually addressing that? I know I wouldn't have unless I had to. Now, I had to because my first business was a direct sales business. Not to be confused with MLMs or anything like that. It was a sales company where people actually got bases and all that kind of thing. And the issue with that was, if I wanted to make more money, the average person would make a pretty similar amount of money each week. Once you cover your overheads and things like that, output was quite similar. Meaning that if I wanted to make more money running a sales and marketing agency, I needed to increase my headcount. So it was imperative for me, if I wanted to achieve the goals that I had financially, in terms of impact, in terms of freedom of time, I had to get really good at not only leading, but creating leaders. And that was something we were fortunate enough to be able to do. We've now scaled internationally. We've actually won awards for best place to work in Australia. We've done a lot of things, but none of that would have happened if I didn't have to learn how to create good leaders. So what we've done with this course is taken the 21 most important leadership skills that you'll need in order to achieve your goals as a leader and increase your value in the marketplace. Now, this course is designed to be easy to consume. The way you're meant to do it is one skill a day. So each day, and these things will only take about 5 or 10 minutes each, so it's not going to be too much to deal with. So each day, as part of your routine, make sure the first thing that you do when you get up is watch the video. Now, it's not just enough to watch the video. We want to make sure that you're actually retaining this and able to use it. So there's a few things that I'm going to need you to do in order to get the maximum effect. Number one is the consistency. Make sure you're watching it. Earlier the better. When you're up and you're waking up, your brain's in what's called a theta state. It's easily primed, which means whatever you focus on early in the day, you'll be more inclined to focus on through the day. So it'll be easier for you to remember to use these skills if you learn them early. If you just listen to something once, you're only really achieving about 15% of the effectiveness of learning something. Just listening to it once is not enough. You want to make sure that you're teaching it to somebody else, and more importantly, using it as much as you can throughout the day. Even if you're practicing it on your partner or on your colleagues or your parents, who cares? If you get repetitions of the skill the same day you use it, it makes you much more likely to be able to retain and use that skill moving forward. So really understand this is a 21-day course designed to give you these skills in a way that you're actually going to be able to remember them and use them. And that means you've got to be consistent and you've got to be thorough. Now, I'm actually going to get some help with this course. So I'm going to split these videos with the head of recruitment and training for that first business cheat code, the Champions League, Zach Ether. Now, Zach's got an extensive background, not only as a successful musician, but he's really been the driving force about how our company exploded internationally into multiple cities from just one small team when it was really him, myself, and another 4 people. So the skills that you're going to learn are not only going to help you lead small teams, but really give you the foundations to scale big teams from here as well. So make sure that you're giving it as much attention as you can, build it into your morning, and use it as much as possible. I hope you get a ton of value over the next 21 days. And without further ado, let's get ready for day number 1.